Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Ithaqwa's Bane, bringing you gaming goodness, and we are in October 24. We're bringing you some ghost hunting, some paranormal games that we can play in this month of Ghosties and Ghoulies. We are with WRAITHOUND at the moment, the game by cezarcapacle. Here we have the grid where we have our unused cards. We have our grid which represents the building that we are investigating. Over here, secret rooms and our power and peril stacks. If you want to see the story so far, you can go back to the previous video. I'll put a link up in the corner here. Coming over to the books, over here we have the rule book. We also have the tables book. We've also got my journal or my notepad where I have the information on my character, Aelwyn Duskgrove the Blessed. We do have a glass bottle of red tree sap, which I found in the first video, in the first level. Mission 1, we're at Sunstone Manor, a radiant estate built from shimmering light reflective stone. And there's this tree, again, which I incorporated into the story in the previous video, that bleeds red sap, and cries can be heard near it at night. Over here, a little bit of journaling, a little bit of note-taking regarding the first room that we investigated. Back to the grid. Boom, boom. So here it was the first room that we investigated. This is level 1, the ground floor. This is level 2, the second floor. This is level 3, the third floor. Now we did actually find a secret room. Back to the books. Bonk, bonk. So we did actually find a secret room, servants' corridor, that we basically made into a path that ran past the tree outside the building that led to the kitchen and the servants' quarters. It sounded good. I was kind of on a roll and I kind of liked the way that it sounded incorporating the tree. But one thing I did forget is when you find a secret room and you determine what the room is, you incorporate it into the story, you also get to add a random black card of your current level into the power pile. I didn't do that in the last video. I'm going to do it now. So technically we're on level 1 still. So I'm taking a random black card and adding it to my power pile. So currently I have 2 cards in the power pile and I don't have any peril cards. But don't worry, there will be some added there. Don't worry, there's no danger of missing out. But these are going to be used when we get to the final room on the 3rd level where we meet the boss. What else? Okay, so we are ready to continue our investigation, our ghost hunt. And we're going to be moving back to the grid. Zoop. We are going to be moving, since we found a secret room, we can move up to level 2 without having to do the remaining level 1 rooms. And that's what we're going to do. So in this video, we are going to be, excuse my squeaky chair, we are going to be moving up to level 2. Hopefully we could find a secret room, can then bring us up to level 3. Let's go. So we can pick any of the levels rooms to start from. So I'm thinking that since the dining room, we went out from the dining room, we found that servant's path that leads to the servants' quarters and the kitchen. I'm thinking that maybe I climbed the tree, went across the branch into a window. I'm thinking there should be one of these 2 because it's nearby the what was this? Dining room, wasn't it? Yeah, the dining room where everything exploded and shattered and all the glass went everywhere. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll do this room as being my starting point on level 2 because it's in the vicinity of the dining room where we went out, went up the tree, went over the branch and went to level 2. So I'm going to be doing this as my first level 2 room. Right, so according to my little plan here, that is going to be room D. So we come across here and I will put D. So now we have to reveal the cards to determine the room, the curiosity, and the threat or horror. So back to the grid. We'll take the cards from that location, from that room. Without revealing all of them, we flip them over. There's going to be 2 red cards and a black card. The first red card, which here is the 8 of hearts, is going to represent the room. The next card is going to be another red card, and that's going to be the curiosity, the interesting thing that's happening in the room. And then the third card is going to be the black card. There's going to be the threat or the horror, the challenge for the room. So the room is the 8 of hearts. I'm just going to make a note here in case, like I say, in case I forget, or in case one of the cats comes and knocks the cards everywhere. So it is the 8 of hearts. Now, we're going to now go to the table. Excuse me one second. We're going to go to the tables book. Is that on view? Yeah, that's on view. But instead of here, level 1, we're now going to go to the rooms for level 2. Is that still visible? Yeah, that's still visible. Good. Right, so we're at the 8 of hearts, the sun room. Solace in stillness, the delicate bloom of hope. All right, let me put that into my journal. Okay, so the sunroom. So I'll put it here in my little journal book. Solace in stillness, the delicate bloom of hope. So, okay, so this is a room. It's obviously going to have a lot of windows, a lot of glass to give you a view of the outside and the sunrise and the sunset and everything else. Maybe the direction of the room in terms of where it is on the house is in terms of where the sun sets and rises, maybe. Right, next thing we need to do is to reveal the second card and to find out what is the curiosity. So back to the grid, back to the cards. Again, we will take, if I can get them, if I can take these cards, come on, up you come. They don't want to come up. Oh, there you go. All right, so the second card is the 7 of hearts, and that is going to be our curiosity for the room. So we come to the curiosities page, and again, we're not level 1 anymore. We are now at level 2. So level 2 curiosities, it is the 7 of hearts. Dancing shadows tease the corners of your vision. What forms do they assume? So I just put it here in my log, in my little room area here. Dancing shadows tease the corners of your vision. What forms do they assume? Now, I could actually use my trinket to maybe help answer that question, or I could roll on the open question oracle, the cryptic phrase. My trinket, a smooth oval stone, pulses warm, glowing when held, casts intricate shadow patterns on nearby surfaces. So again, this could maybe be held to better distinguish what the shadows are going to represent. We do actually have to do the threat and the horror first, though, or should I? Should I investigate the room first and then do the threat or horror? I think I will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trinket, this smooth oval stone, which can cast shadow patterns on the surfaces. What I'm going to do is, as I enter through the window of this sunroom with all these windows everywhere, I'm seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye, and I can't really ascertain what they are or what shapes they actually are. So I take out of my pocket this smooth oval stone that was given to me, and it starts to project light beams or dots around the room, and maybe it's going to help me to better distinguish what the shadows are. Now, for this, I'm going to use the open question oracle to kind of come up with some kind of prophecy, and maybe I can work that into what the shadows actually represent. And then what we'll do is we'll reveal the threat and horror. So I'm going to roll for the oracle prophecy. So for that, we are going to need, is it in here? So I'm going to be rolling up on this open question oracle where we can actually determine this sort of cryptic verse or this cryptic sentence. And maybe that can help me to distinguish what the shadows are before I reveal the threat or horror. So we're going to be rolling. So it's a D66 table. You're going to be generating a verb, an adjective, and then a noun, a connector, another noun, and another verb. I'll be writing them down so I don't forget. So the first one that we roll is, we get a 5-5. 5-5 enrich. So that's the first verb there. Enrich the 5, 6. Enrich the twisted. And for the noun, 1, 5. Water. Okay, so enrich the twisted water. We've got to do the second part now, the connector, noun, and verb. Those are over here. So for the connector, 1, 6. Beneath. Now for the second noun, 4, 2. River. Oh, okay. Beneath the river. And now for our last part, the second verb, we get 2, 3. Ceases. Okay. So you roll for these 6 words and then you combine them into this cryptic sentence. And it's supposed to help you sort of generate or progress the story, or to help you to come up with ideas about what's happening. So what do we get? Enrich the twisted water beneath the river that ceases. Oh, that actually works out quite well. But what does it mean in terms of the story, in terms of these shadows that I'm seeing? Well, maybe nothing. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with those shadows, but maybe it has something to do with the tree. Maybe enrich the twisted water beneath the river that ceases. So maybe the cause of the problem with the tree, and maybe the cause of the problem with this house, is something to do with maybe an underground river that runs under the manor, or maybe possibly the water supply. Maybe, I don't know whether this town or city actually has some kind of central water supply, and maybe there's something in there that's actually causing this disturbance. Enrich the twisted water beneath the river that ceases. So maybe we have to actually do something to the water supply to solve the problem. Maybe we can do that after we overcome the boss here. Maybe I can get something that I can put into the river to actually heal it, to get rid of the sort of negative effect. Enrich the twisted water beneath the river that ceases. So maybe there's an outlet somewhere. Maybe it comes out into an estuary or a river. So maybe the manor actually is at sort of a riverside, or maybe it's at a beach or something, and the river maybe it's like an underwater river that goes under the manor, empties into the sea or empties into a lake or something. But currently there's something in there that's actually causing this problem. Maybe it's from further up the river. Maybe that can link to another mission, another adventure, where we actually find the source of this problem possibly. But temporarily, I need to fix the problem. Okay, that kind of makes sense. It doesn't help me in terms of this particular room and what I'm seeing in this room, but maybe it's something that I can ascertain. Because, I mean, I've watched a whole bunch of ghost hunting programs, and they always say that sort of running water like rivers or streams is like a conduit of energy. But how would I find this out? How would I know this? Maybe I can feel it. Because I have the ability to actually project myself into the spiritual realm. Maybe I can actually feel that, like a medium does. They can feel this energy, possibly. The sunroom, solace in stillness, the delicate bloom of hope. Do sunrooms normally have flowers? I'm not sure. But we've still got these shadows to deal with. So maybe I can use my opal, and then we'll see what the threat or horror is. Maybe that's linked with the shadows. But maybe this oracle prophecy, enrich the twisted water beneath the river that ceases. But where would I suddenly get that epiphany? Where would I suddenly get that understanding, that knowledge? Like I say, maybe it's like a medium thing where you get a vision or something. Maybe in here there are, again, maybe paintings on the wall that kind of really focus on the river, or some kind of underground canyon or underground cave system that has a river. Let's continue with the threat or horror. Maybe I'll come up with an idea about where this prophecy comes from that. So the threat or horror, let's go back to the grid. Right, let's see if I can pick these cards up easier this time. There you go. Right, so we've had the Room, which is the 8 of Hearts. We've had the Curiosity, which is the 7 of Hearts. And now we've got the 10 of Spades is going to be the threat or horror. But because it is a spade, it is going to represent a horror. So we're going to be coming up against something, not necessarily physical, but maybe a ghost or something. Right, so we come to the tables. We go to the horrors table. We're not level 1 anymore, we're level 2. So we come across to level 2, still in camera. Yep, good, right. And we come to the 10 of Spades, the gargoyle. A hulking gargoyle entity that detaches from the manor's roof. Now, I'm currently on the 2nd level, but it is a sunroom. So maybe it does actually stick out. Maybe this room doesn't actually have a room above it, so maybe there is a ceiling. And again, maybe because it's a sunroom, maybe the ceiling has a lot of glass, so we can look up through it, and maybe the gargoyle is going to crash through. So yeah, I'm thinking that as I'm looking around, I'm looking at these shadows from the corner of my eye. I see a movement above me. I mean, I took out my gem to kind of try and get more. What does it say? Intricate shadow patterns on nearby surfaces. So maybe I hold out the gem to kind of see if I can better visualize what the shadows are around me. That's the curiosity. But maybe as I'm doing that, I notice that there is a shadow from above, and I look up maybe through the glass ceiling, because like I say, this is the sunroom, yeah? So maybe it has a glass ceiling. There's no 3rd level above this. But I do notice this shape dropping down from the ceiling. I'm thinking maybe it's part of the roof or something going to come down and crash and hurt me, but it's not. I can actually see as it gets closer and closer that it is actually a form. It is a gargoyle, a stone creature, and it's about to crash through the glass. So because this is level 2, the game recommends that you need to get a minimum of 2 successes on your action rolls to succeed and to maybe overcome the challenge. Well, the challenge is going to be this gargoyle coming smashing through the glass. So I'm thinking the first thing I need to do is to avoid the gargoyle as it comes down. The second thing I think I'm going to need to do is I'm thinking maybe the second test will be to get out of the room and sort of blockade a door so that he can't actually come through and get me. I think that kind of works. So let us get our action dice. So again, the white dice will be more positive results. The black dice will be more negative. But what are we looking at here? I'm thinking in terms of avoiding the gargoyle, the white again would be to dive out of the way and take no damage. And I'm thinking the black dice would be not being able to avoid the gargoyle and maybe getting partially pinned by him, maybe. I think that kind of works. So we're going to roll. We get, okay, great. So the white dice was higher, which means that we get our more favorable result, which basically means I managed to dive out of the way. I'm not going to move into the spiritual realm for this one. I'm going to do this as a more physical thing. So I literally dive out of the way as the gargoyle comes crashing through the glass. But I am going to have to get at least one more success to overcome this challenge. So I think the next thing I need to do is to try and get back to my feet quickly and run out of the door, possibly locking or pushing a chair under the handle to try and keep the gargoyle out. Whether that's going to be strong enough or not, I don't know. So for the second check, I'm thinking that the white dice will be me getting to my feet quickly and jumping. Actually, maybe this will become 3 successes. Yeah, so this is going to be me being able to get to my feet quick enough and get out of the door. This black die will represent me not being fast enough and maybe the gargoyle grabbing hold of my leg as I'm trying to escape. So let's see what happens. Okay, great. So the white die is high. The black die is low. So again, we managed to accomplish that. So this is our second success. So we managed to get to our feet quickly, narrowly avoiding the gargoyle's claw as he grabs for my leg. I managed to get out of the room But I'm thinking that I'm going to have to make another roll to maybe make sure that the door is locked and a chair is pushed under it enough to stop a stone gargoyle from coming through. So but I'm thinking I'm through the door. So I'm thinking that maybe this will be a complete success in terms of barricading the door and locking the door so the gargoyle can't come through. Maybe the black dice represents doing that, but maybe the gargoyle's arm comes through and maybe catches my arm or catches me as I'm doing it. So maybe I'll be slightly injured because of it. So let's see how we do. Okay, no problems whatsoever. So a third success means I successfully barricade the door. It can't come through and I've managed to escape and overcome that challenge. 3 successes. I think this is a positive result. So let's go back to the grid. So we're going to put the black card, again, since it was 3 successes, I did really well, and I'm going to put that on my power deck or my power pile. Now again, at the moment, my power pile is 3 against no peril. So at the moment, the boss fight should be fairly easy. But again, we've still got a long way to go, and there's still going to be a lot more things that can add to my peril. Right, I've just finished up a few little bits here. So conjecture, okay. So I'm thinking that there may be some kind of underground river or stream, and it may be the source of the problem in terms of a pollutant or maybe some kind of poison or magical element that's been introduced into this river or stream that's actually causing the problems here. Because like I say, in sort of ghost hunting programs, we do sometimes hear about rivers and streams and everything and water being a good conductor of energy and stuff. Overcoming the boss may provide a cure for the river or stream pollutant. So maybe overcoming the boss will provide us with something that can actually be introduced into the river, maybe further up towards the source. Maybe the red sap. Is the red sap a symptom or a cure? I'm thinking more the red sap is a symptom, that it could be something negative, poisonous maybe. But maybe something is going to happen later that's going to change that opinion. And maybe the red sap is actually something that I can use to cure. Or maybe even use against the boss, if that is the case. Some notes, the gargoyle is still active in or around this room. The room had a glass ceiling and therefore was no level 3 room above it. So we are done with that room. Now, for this room, there will be no chance of a secret room because we had an 8, a 7, and a 10. So there's no matching numbers. So this room does not have a secret room or a secret exit. So we now move on to the next room.